This tutorial is a description of how to make a walkthrough animation, and I have my house open. I'm zoomed out a little bit, so I'm kind of at my starting point. So before I get started, I want to think about where I want to walk in my house. So in this case, I'm just going to walk in the front gate, through the courtyard, and out the back, and out towards the ocean. So that is my path, right? So just kind of have that in mind so you know where you're headed. Right? You can always change your scenes as you go through, and you're going to have to. You're going to have to adjust things. But have an idea in your mind before you get started. So, okay, let's start. I have turned on all of my tags, my layers, that I know I'm going to be able to see. So some things like the laundry room and the powder room, I have them turned off because I know we won't be able to see them. So let's close that. Open up scenes. Now, let's start with a kind of a beginning outdoor scene just to establish where we are. So I'm going to look at this kind of from an angle. So, okay, that's good enough. Right, so plus, add the scene, and there we go, there's scene one. Now, I am going to zoom in towards my gate here, and I'm going to place the camera, so position camera, and I'm standing right there. There we are, okay. Now, this isn't exactly where I want to be, so I'm going to back up just a little bit. There we go, that's better. All right, maybe a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay. What I'm doing is trying to establish a flow of movement. So let's look this way just a little bit so I can see my front door. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. All right. So, oops, I gotta fix that door, don't I? All right. So now that I have figured out where I'm standing and which way I'm looking, I'm going to add a scene. And there it is. Okay, now I'm going to use my walk tool, and I'm going to walk forward down this hallway. And once I get where I want to be, I'm going to use the look tool to turn my head a little bit. I can use the pan tool to scoot myself over just a bit. All right, there we are. Okay. And I'm going to spend a little time kind of tweaking this view. That's nice. That's okay. Let's look up just a bit. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I'm going to add another scene. It's going to be scene 3. All right, now I'm going to go around the corner. So corners are hard. You have to be really careful when you make a turn. You have to make sure that you're not going through a wall. All right, so we're going to go this way. Now, right here is a problem, because chances are I'm going to go through that wall. So I'm going to move myself to the side a little bit. That's probably safe. Oh, I need to move those down too. Ah, they're floating. Oops. All right, so I'm going to look this way and pan a little bit more, and then walk forward just a bit. Oh, maybe not that much. And look over. Oops, no. Look over. There we go. Okay. Now let's back up just a bit. All right. So basically, I'm establishing where I'm standing and which direction I'm looking. And look up just a bit. Okay, now we create the scene. Okay, good. So we'll walk forward, and then pan to the side. And we're going to look this way. So when you are making a turn, you're going to have a stop point, a start point and a stop point. And, oh shoot, hang on. Apparently I can't do this and talk at the same time. Apparently I'm just not that talented. Okay, so here we go. Let me get myself positioned here before I say too much. Alright. Let me back up just a bit. There we go. Come over. Okay, so this is going to be my stop point. Alright, and I'm going to look. There we go. Okay, not too terrible. Alright, and I'm going to make a scene. So when you make a turn, you have a start point and a stop point. Sometimes you have to add an intermediate step in there because SketchUp will interpolate between the two points, your start and your stop. And sometimes it makes kind of a swing, and it'll go through a wall. You don't want that. So let's go down the hall here for our next scene. I'll go right on down here. And let's turn the head. Oops. Alright, go this way. There we go. Now we can see something. Okay. Oh, wait. There we go. And okay. So there we are. That's scene 5. Oh, that's scene 6. Okay. Now we're going to walk forward. And look. Okay, cool. That looks good. Add a scene. Now, let's look this way. And maybe we want to look around the corner and see the other little pergola over here. And nah, that's not really that interesting, so let's not do that. Let's just go back to scene 7. Okay, now that I have my scenes in place, 1 through 7, okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go back to the first one, double click, and we will just zoom through everything. Okay, so there's my start point. Now, I'm going to double check that I don't have any problems. I'm going to do this by stepping through my scenes one at a time. So double click on scene 2. Here we go. Alright, scene 3. Okay, that's nice. Scene 4. Okay, yeah, that's nice too. Alright, 5. Oh, I've gone through a wall, that's a problem. We're going to need to fix that. Okay, so we have a problem between scene 4 and scene 5. Alright, so scene 6. Yep, got another problem, going through a wall. Alright, scene 7. And yep, going through a wall here too. So what I'm going to have to do is go to scene 6. We're going to work our way back. Right? So now I need to have a scene, an extra scene between 6 and 7 so that I avoid this wall. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to position myself over here. And maybe I'll walk forward just a little bit, and I can turn my head like that. Alright. And then I'm going to say, add a scene, and what it's going to do is it's going to add it right after the scene that is active at the moment. So we're going to add a scene, and there it is. So it comes in after the one that you were just on. So let's name this something else, not scene 8. Let's name it scene 6.5. So 6.5. Okay, so now let's double check. Double click on scene 6. So we're going to go back to scene 6. Okay, great. Now, 6.5 and 7. Okay, cool. That works. Now, we also need to add one between 5 and 6. So let's go to 5. All right. So here's scene 5. Scene 5 is at the beginning of the hall. Scene 6 is at the end of the hall. So we're going to need to have a scene 5.5 that's somewhere halfway in between to keep SketchUp from swinging wide and going through that wall. So let's position ourselves straight down this hallway. It's not very interesting here, but we can fix that later. All right. Scoot over. Maybe we want to look a little bit to the side. Maybe look up just a little bit. Okay. Maybe walk forward just a bit more. Okay. Now I'm at sort of a middle point. All right. So we're going to say plus, add a scene. And there it is. And we don't want scene 9. We want to call it scene 5.5. Okay. Now let's go back to scene 5. Double click. All right, we're going to make sure, go to scene 5.5. All right, so far so good. Go to scene 6. Still going through a wall just a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to scene 5.5. See right there, we're going through a wall. All right, so what I need to do here, I need to walk forward just a little bit more, move myself to the left, and I think I'm going to turn my eyes a little bit also. Move my eyes a little bit. Now, I am going to update this scene. So yes, update. Now that we have changed a little bit, let's go back to 5. This is the time-consuming part. Anytime you're doing an interior walkthrough, there's a bunch of places where you can swing through a wall, and you don't want that. So let's try this again. Double-click. And good, we did not go through the wall. All right, go to scene 6. There we go, and did not go through the wall. Awesome. Now, I know that I'm also going to have to put one in between scene 4 and 5. So go to scene 4. Yep. Wow, okay. And now I know, so scene 5 is here, and we're going through that wall. Okay, cool. So let's go to scene 4, back again. All right, so I need to have a scene where I am slightly closer, but I'm going to look to the side a little bit. Actually, what I could do from here, that might turn my head too much. I almost want to look at the pool just a bit, because that's kind of cool. So if I made a scene at 4.5 and put it right here, and maybe turn my head just a little bit more, look at the pool some more, because that's kind of nice. All right, let's see what happens. I may or may not like this. I can always delete it. Okay, so there it is. So we don't want scene 10. This is scene 4.5. Okay, now let's go back to scene 4. Double click. Are we going through a wall? No. Good. Okay, so let's move forward. 4.5. Okay, yeah, look at the pretty water. Okay, now scene 5. Okay, now we're going to slide the, I don't know about that. I guess it's okay. Okay, so for now, that's okay. I might fix it a little bit later. But I have all of my scenes in here, 1 through 7. So technically there's 10 of them, except we have some extras in there. So I want to, before I record this, I'm going to save my file. So I'll save. And then I want to look at my animation settings. So we're going to go and look at View, Animation, Settings. Now I already changed this previously. I know that I don't want a pause when I get to my scene. So my scene delay is 0. And I do want transitions enabled, yes. And 4 seconds in between the scenes, probably a little too much. Let's make it 3 seconds between. We'll see how that works. So, okay, there's my settings. Now I want to export my animation. So I'm going to say File, Export, Animation. And I'm going to, this is the right place. I'm going to call this, we're just going to say Miller Walk Anim. Fine. I do want an MP4 file format. Okay, I'm going to go to Options. I want 720. Okay, so high def. And 24 frames a second is just fine. And I'm going to turn right here where it says loop to starting scene. I'm going to turn that off. because I want this to be a one-way animation from stop, or from the starting point to the stopping point and then ending there. Don't loop back to the beginning. So, okay. And then we're going to say export. And this is going to take a little while because I've got a lot of polygons on this thing. All right, yep. So I will upload the resulting animation onto D2L.